What's good, people? We are going to talk a little bit about England and Gareth Southgate. We thought we'd ask you in a chat, throw some questions in. We'll try and get through as many as we can. If you want to put a super chat in, of course, you'll go to the front of the queue. Lee, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, all good. Thank you very much. All good. Buzzing for the weekend. Buzzing for football to be back. International week is the worst weeks for me. I don't enjoy the football. I'll be honest. I'm worried about players getting injured. I'm worried about players having more minutes than they should. And even last night when I went to bed, I knew Brazil were playing. Like I can't sleep properly, Dan, worrying about if anything's going to happen to the three Gabbies. You know what I mean? Like, and then I wake up in the morning. First thing I do is check my phone. The Gabbies are all right. You know what I mean? And then I'm all right, like But I don't enjoy it whatsoever. And as for England, well, fantastic performance yesterday. I'm not going to lie. I thought we played really well. There's some really standouts in that England team. Obviously like Bellingham being one of them, But Declan Rice, superb. I have to say, one player that really did impress me was Calvin Phillips. I thought he played really, really well, considering he's had no game time. But shouldn't be there, Dan. Should not be there. As for Maguire, Southgate turning around and saying, like, having a go at fans and things like that. That as a fan, right, I think to play for England is an honour, and it's one that's got to be deserved. And I mean by deserved means that playing for your club, playing really well, and doing the business. And I know, and it winds me up when I see someone like him having no minutes, not playing, and he comes on and plays. I'm not having to go at Harry Maguire. It's nothing against him as a player, you know what I mean, But we ridiculed him when he came on against Man United. Man United fans have ridiculed him. Everybody now is that, and it's not his fault. I worry for and Gareth Southgate's got to take a lot of blame for that. He says things like, playing. And also he turned around and says he's never let the country down. That's why I play him. Nor has Raheem Sterling, but he's not playing, Eric Dyer, you can talk about Eric Dyer as poor as he is. He ever let England down? No, he's dropped from the squad. And then he turns around and says, can't play Ben White because he's playing right back and he's really a central defender and they can't be playing that, Kieran Trippier, where does he play for Newcastle? Right back. Where does he play for England? Left back. Where does James Maddison play for Tottenham? In the number 10 role, Plays for England. He's on the wide left. You know what I mean? Then he turns around and says what he says about Foden. And I look at it and look, listen, they played really well yesterday, but he just irritates me. I'm sorry, he's a rash that you've got on your left testicle and you can't get rid of it, Dan. You know what I mean? I keep scratching it and he's still there, and it's getting on my bloody ghoulies now. I want him out.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything you've said I don't agree with. I don't really know how anyone can still stick up for the tactics and the style of football and the people that he's bringing into the first 11 anymore. Listen, I think Gareth Southgate's a really nice guy. I think I've said this on my show and other shows I've been on this week. I do think he's a really nice footballing guy. I think he comes across immaculately in terms of the media, and I think he's a really good footballing man. Unfortunately, that's where it stops for me. I don't think there's much else I like about him in terms of him as a football coach. I don't look at his style of play and enjoy it. I don't look at what he's doing with his team selections. I don't look at the squad. He first came in to a press conference and said, I will be picking the England players on form. That was about 6 years ago, was it 5 years ago, whenever it was he was appointed. Well, that's a lie, because the players he's picking, as you've just rightly said, aren't even playing for their club, so they can't be on form. So we made a good point on my show last night with a few of the lads. Harry Maguire, Man United, we want you out. Go find another club. Gareth, am I going to play still for England if I don't play for Man United? Yes, son. All right, I'll stay here. Job done.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay at Man United and be the fourth choice centre half, but I'll be the first choice for England. I look at everywhere around the first 11. He's not getting anything right other than Harry Kane up top, really, Lee, is he? Let's be real. I don't think Jordan Pickford should be the number one goalkeeper. I've not got anything against Jordan Pickford. I just think Aaron Ramsdale's better. Maybe I'm biased, but I just look at the two goalkeepers and think one of them's better than the other. I think if you want to don't want to play Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back, you play Kyle Walker, Trippier, or Reece James. So he's got 4 to pick from there, right? But if you're going on form, he's never doing on form because on form, Trent Alexander-Arnold has pretty much seen um, we've seen the best of Trent Alexander-Arnold for the last few years. Now, I understand people don't like seeing him at right back. So if you could have that debate, Reece James, Ben White, Kieran Trippier, Kyle Walker, to me, it doesn't really matter. But other than that position, Lee, he has never played our best 2 centre halves together because one of them is Harry Maguire, right? He's chopping and changing at left back, whether it be Trippier there, Luke Shaw there. For me, Ben Chilwell is probably the best left back. You can argue that perhaps he's injured at times, and again, he's injured at the moment. So fair play. But Luke Shaw straight in there. He ain't been fantastic for Man United, in my opinion. He's never played a trio that we all want to see in midfield. A little bit like Mikel Arteta at Arsenal this year. We're all crying out for Partey, Rice and Ødegaard. Everybody I know is crying out for Rice, Bellingham and either Foden or Maddison in that number 10. But he's playing Phillips or Henderson there. Now, Henderson, how has he been picked, by the way? He's just gone over to Saudi Arabia. In you come, son. You know, Ward-Prowse, no, I'm an unbelievable fan of him, but I think he's a good player. I think he deserves a lot of credit for what he's done at Southampton. And I think in the first few games, if you're going on form, he needs to be in the England squad for me. So that's a bizarre one. Harry Kane, I've just mentioned. But how many times have we swapped and changed it? How many times have we seen Mount coming and forcing into this side ahead of players like James Maddison? How many times have Grealish not got a nod when he should have? How many times have... Well, it's only really Saka, I would suggest now, which everyone, the Arsenal fans, frustrated about. And every Tottenham fan has been frustrated about, not so much now that Kane's left, because Kane and Saka are the first 2 on the sheet. And then you could just everyone's really. So I don't think we've ever had 11 at England that I've gone, do you know what? He's sorted everyone out there. That 11 is the best 11 on form. I don't think I've ever seen that, Lee. And I understand this, he hasn't let Southgate down stuff. I get that. But there is an element of fairness within this because you could be... Let's just pick a name. Let's pick a centre half. Let's pick Tomori. Goes into AC Milan. He wins the league. He's player of the season. And he looks like, apart from Saliba, Diaz and Gvardiol, he's the best in the world right now. Harry Maguire's getting ahead of him. Is that fair? How are these players supposed to get dislodged this 11? I don't get it. So it seems for me that Gareth Southgate has got his massive favourites. Now, get me wrong. I actually think and feel quite, I don't know about you, I feel quite sorry for Harry Maguire now. I think he's actually needs to take him out the firing line. And I think Gareth Southgate he's not doing what Ten Hag is. Ten Hag is saying, I'm keeping you out the firing line, mate. I know I had to bring you on. You got injured the other day at the Emirates, so I had to bring you on. I'm keeping you out the firing line because there's too much going wrong. Gareth Southgate flings him on and he scores an own goal. I mean, this is just unbelievable what we're seeing from him now. And then he comes out in the press conference, says everyone's being out of order. We need to calm him down, leave him alone. Well, stop putting him in the firing line then when he's not kicked a ball for weeks. So I don't really know, mate. I've got too many negatives at the moment about Gareth Southgate, I suppose, Lee.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I'll tell you what, Darren Bent made a magnificent point today when I was coming home and listening to him on the radio. Do like Darren Bent, by the way. And he actually said that maybe he don't want to bring in these young players at centre half because if they do really well, then he'd have to leave Harry Maguire out. You know, there's no reason to bring Harry Maguire on in that game. But like, well, what happens if what happens if, you know, I think Gay played really well in a couple of games. Yeah, well, all right, now he's got a little injury. You come off. Can't put no one else in because I've got to get Harry in there because otherwise he might be left out. I thought it was a fantastic point, to be honest. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very much in agreement with that, like, if I'll be honest. So, yeah, disappointing. I'm going to put the glasses on because I can't see the chat. So, you know, like Declan Rice, you know, it's a friendly. We've got Everton on Sunday, Champions League on Wednesday, Tottenham on Sunday, and he's playing 90 minutes in a friendly. You know what I mean? Like, and you've got players like Maddison, who ain't got no European football, not being rested. You know what I mean? He could have played in that game, like, you know what I mean? Just anybody else in midfield, like, you know, Henderson's playing in the Saudi League. Give him another game in there. You know, take Declan Rice off. For Christ's sake, like he could have actually, you know, he took Bellingham off, and I think that was the right thing to do. He took Harry Kane off, the right thing to do. But the two players that played the whole only two players played the full 90 minutes in both games, and that was Walker and Declan Rice. You know what I mean? Both players. I'm saying this about Walker as well. I'd be furious if I was Man City or Arsenal manager. In a friendly, I look around at other teams. Shinchenko being taken off with 75 minutes gone. Because the man, he cares about him as a player. Other teams as well. I'm going to sneeze. So Gary.
Bless you, mate. Bless you. The thing I couldn't believe, I honestly couldn't believe this. I looked to the subs bench and Saka's coming on, and I'm thinking,
oh no, what was all that about? You've got Eddie Nketiah who could play for 20 minutes in the game, you know what I mean? There was other players that could have come on, in that, just give them a run out, it's like, I'll tell you what, I don't want to give Eddie a rest. Like, you can come and train for 2 weeks. It's like, tight, I'm going to run your ragged. So when you get back to Arsenal, you're tired. I don't really understand it, I look around.
Weird on that Eddie Nketiah one. He didn't even use him, did he?
Didn't even use him. Weren't even in the. I know they had to leave one player out of the squad for the qualifier, and that's what he did. He left out Eddie after putting him up through like the press conferences and all things like that. Just unbelievable, you know what I mean? Unbelievable. And then I look at Havertz, for Germany, played one game and then not the next. You go through all of the players, you know what I mean, that done it, but not Southgate with Declan Rice. Now I know that Declan Rice is a machine, but when is he going to get a rest? We've now got to rest him in a game somewhere along the line. Probably it'll be Brentford, but I just think, these internationals now are becoming a bit of a joke to me, Dan. You're guaranteed qualifying. You know what I mean? The standard's not very, very good, if I'll be honest. Scotland have won 5 games out of 5 in the qualifiers. They look so, second rate against us yesterday. I have to say that,
yeah, I agree.
With Scotland, I'm really disappointed with them. But their focus was all on the game before. They don't want to get players getting injured. By the way, I thought McTominay, his Scotland form. They keep going on about this manager, how great he is, you know what I mean? If he was any great, any good, he'd get a tune out of that McTominay, you know what I mean? I thought he was brilliant again,
What manager? What manager? Ten Hag.
Ten Hag,
Oh, right. Sorry, yeah.
The Ollie Golly.
I've got my concerns over Ten Hag, but Man United fans seem to think he's top quality. So fair play. I don't think he is. I think he's all right. I think he's done well at Ajax, but I don't quite understand the obsession with bringing him in. And if I'm honest with you, winning the Carabao Cup last season seems to now have made this a bit like Arteta, I suppose. Seems to make him untouchable with the Man United fans. It's very bizarre because I don't think they look much. I don't look at Ten Hag so far and think, tell you what, I'd love him. But Man United seem to think he's the guy that they're going to take forward. But, all he's done so far, Lee, let's be real. I know we're moving to Man U here, but let's be real. He's bought a goalkeeper he knew from Ajax. He's bought a centre-half he knows from Ajax. He's bought a left-back he knows from Holland. He wanted De Jong. He had Donny van der Beek there, but he don't want to use him. He's bought a winger in Anthony from Ajax. Who else has he bought? There's someone else that he wants. All of these people are just coming from Ajax.
Where's
the scouting system?
Casemiro, which is
Casemiro is the only one in it, I think, and then there's a couple of others that ain't from Ajax. But
a lot for
Ajax, I just don't get it, man.
A lot of money. He's got problems now with Anthony, and he what's going to go, what's going to happen.
Well, and Sancho as well, because he's slagged him off. He can't play him. So.
I believe that after that Man United Arsenal game, he come out and just put him under the bus because it made him look all right. Everybody forgets about him, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think he's very fortunate. Rashford, I thought, was quiet against us. I thought, apart from the goal, I thought he played very, very well last night. Like, if I'll be honest, but
as I say, I agree with you. I think everyone played well. I thought Bellingham was outstanding. Foden.
How good was he? Like, I mean,
Bellingham, he looks top, doesn't he? He looks top. And this is the thing, Lee. They're all coming through at the right age. Bellingham's 20, Saka's 21. You've got Foden, you've got Rashford, who's not really old. Was he 24? Is he? Declan Rice, 24. Apart from Harry Kane, and obviously the ones we don't want to be seeing there so long. They got a really good squad for the future, mate. You look in every position. The goalkeeper in Ramsdale's young. Our fullbacks are very young. You look at Trent and you look at Reece James. Over on the other side, you've got Chilwell, who's not old either. And then at centre halves, we've got them coming through now. John Stones is probably the oldest. Mark Guehi is coming through. Levi Colwell is coming through. We're talking about Tomori. And then in midfield, Rice, Bellingham and Foden. Wow, what a brilliant trio for the next sort of decade. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I don't think there's any more excuses now. I don't want to see us collapsing at teams like as soon as we get to a Belgium or a France or a Brazil or any of these teams and we go down. I'm not having it anymore because we should not be going down against those teams. We've got to go and win this tournament.
I believe England should win the Euros. I think we're the best team in it. I think France are up there, but I think we're better. Listen, we should have beaten France in the World Cup if we'd have been more attacking, more adventurous. And Bayern Munich's Harry Kane didn't miss that chance, but unfortunately, the penalty, but he did But so I think that we've got a really, really good team. I think when you think about it, I think Saka is class. I think Bayern Munich's Harry Kane is world class. I think Rashford is class as well. Like, I'm going to say it now, Declan Rice is bordering on world class for me. Like, what I've seen of him over the last few games, I didn't realise how good he actually is. But seeing him week in, week out, all my West Ham mates have all, like with Lawless is very, very bitter. But like, how good my mate West Ham Paul always said how good he was. I've always said he was good, but I didn't realise he was this good. You know what I mean? I love the way he bosses midfields and, dominated it, I think, against Man United. So we've got them in there. I do think that Madison's been another one that's being mismanaged by England. I do think that. Plays on the wide. When you think about it, you've got Foden and Rashford, and he leaves them out and brings in Madison, who's more of a central midfield player. And then he leaves out Henderson for this game, and he brings in Phillips, and he doesn't play Madison in his normal position, plays him out, or he don't come on. I just think it's incredibly bad, like, you know what I mean. So I'm with you. Sometimes you can have too much talent. I know that sounds stupid, Dan, right? But you think about it. If you was a manager of England, I'll be looking at it and going, well, I've got to get Grealish in here somehow. Well, where can I get Grealish in here? Like, we're talking like Grealish and Rashford taking, just for instance, them two are battling for that left-hand side. Saka and Foden are battling for the right-hand side. You know what I mean? You've got Bayern Munich's Harry Kane, Wilson, Ivan Toney to come back into that. That's firepower. The thing, Eddie, I don't think will get a call up again, once everybody's fit. The midfield is strong. The back four, got when you talk about John Stones, he's up there as a class player now. Lewis Dunk, I thought, was outstanding yesterday.
Same.
So they've got some really good play. And I know what you say about Pickford. He's never let England down, if I'll be honest. I think he's more of a good shot stopper and all that. I'm a big Ramsdale fan. I think that, again, yesterday, look how assured England were about. I know that he didn't do a lot, but I don't panic when he's in goal there. The only time I panic is when fucking Maguire's near it. But, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you, you're right in what you say about it. I agree and disagree with what you're saying. I'll tell you why. I agree that you can have too much talent. I disagree, though, that that's a bad thing. And I'll tell you why. The reason I think it's a bad thing right now is because we ain't got the manager.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If we had this, he doesn't even have to be Pep. Like, people say, who do you want then? Pep? No. People make me laugh. Who's out there that's better? I say every single time. It doesn't matter if you're club or country. Who else do you want then? Who else do you want? Is this really the best we can do? Because I tell you this now, Lee. If he gets sacked, he ain't getting a Premier League job. There's nobody in the Premier League that will want him. So Are we saying that at the moment we've got world class and class? You've just gone through and players, and we've got basically, a geezer driving a Formula One car here that really ain't good enough to pass his driving test. In my opinion, that's what we've got.
Yeah,
And the
I
players are getting
agree.
him through it. The players are getting him through it because they're quality, they're top quality players. But if you can tell me that Eddie Howe couldn't do a better job, or Graham Potter even,
Yeah,
not even
I'm
talking
with you.
about elite names here, yeah? Not even talking about elite names. I'm talking about players, managers, sorry, that have not managed at elite levels, that have not got a CV like Don Carlo or like Alex Ferguson. I'm talking about managers that actually, in my opinion, could do a better job. And I think if Eddie Howe was offered the job, he'd probably turn it down because Newcastle is where his little project's at. He's got buckets of money and he's going to give it a good go. But I reckon Graham Potter would come in.
Yeah,
And don't get
I
me
think
wrong,
Graham Potter will
he ain't
come
a
in.
bad manager overnight, is he, Graham Potter? Just
No,
because of what happened at Chelsea.
I totally
So
agree. I think he'd do a
that's
good
where I'm
job.
at, man.
Yeah,
That's where I'm at. Listen, let's talk a bit about Arsenal because there's a lot of people in the chat talking about it. Ash West has asked the question about, to be fair, we'd already spoken a bit about this. What's your thoughts on Saliba and Rice all getting 90 minutes yesterday? We have Champions League football and the North London Derby upcoming. And also, Jesus played 26 minutes for Brazil, 3 a.m. this morning. So, like you said, Lee, a lot of Arsenal and players and Gooners going for it. I will say this, Saliba and Rice, don't know about you, first 4 games, best 2 players for me, Saliba
yeah,
and Rice at
and listen,
Arsenal,
Saliba didn't
100%.
play in the first game, did he? So you know what I mean.
I
Like,
don't know, did he not?
no, he's got 90 minutes in a friendly, which I think that's where he is at this moment in time. It's only a matter of time before he's in the French team on a regular basis. So with the performance that he's doing there, like Jesus, I think played, as you said, was it 26 minutes? Okay, he played 26 minutes. The good thing about it, Dan, is don't forget we was meant to be playing on a Saturday, weren't we? So we're now playing on a Sunday, so that gives us an extra day's rest now for the international. I don't think it's a bad thing. So we play Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday. So it ain't as it's worked out pretty good, So the guys from Brazil get an extra day now. They'll be back home now. They can have today off, which I'm pretty sure they did. Come in tomorrow, which would be Thursday. Have a nice sort of recovery day. Train Friday and Saturday, and they should be ready for the game. I think Martinelli got the last couple of minutes as well. Jesus, as we said, played, and don't forget that Gabriel's played 290 minutes. I think 86 minutes when he took a dead leg. He played yesterday for 90 minutes. So you'd look at it and go, look, with Gabriel, he ain't played for 4 weeks, so I don't think that's put him up to speed. The international break for someone like Trossard's been a good thing. He's got minutes under his belt, which is pretty good. Tierney's got. Tierney. That's the thing I was going to come on to in a minute about Tierney. Shinchenko's played like 75 minutes, 70 minutes, so he's got some more minutes under his belt without the pressure of playing for and getting results for Arsenal, which is good. So we've all had that bit of play there. The likes of Ben White's had a nice little rest, so he can be using that. Tomiyasu, by the way, has had a very, very good couple of games for Japan. Played lots of minutes, which was required. So for some of our lads, it's been good. And we go from there. But the squad's been announced in it, in the Champions League squad. And I'm sorry, Dan, I've got to say this. Talking about this today with my mate Julian, not the Julian that we know, another Julian, and we were saying Cedric or Tierney. I know who I'd want in my 25-man squad for Champions League. Now, the only reason that this may not have happened is maybe Tierney said that he wants to get some first-team football. But for me, we've gone from Timber back to Cedric. And I know it's unfortunate in the injuries, but for me, I watched Tierney last night. Saka gave him a couple of little moments that he wouldn't be fond of. He actually got booked against Saka, but all in all, he ain't a bad defender, by the way. You know what I mean? I just think
I'm the same, man. I think he's. You know what I think of this guy?
Yeah,
I've given up now. I've
such
given up, mate. I've just given up because this is the problem. You start questioning it, and then you're hated for questioning it. You'd think you know more than the manager. You think you in love with Tierney and all this, and I think, all right, then he's crap. Let's get rid of him. Let's get Cedric back in the side. What do these fans want? I don't get it. you question the decision. I'm concerned about this now. We've got a backup left back now of Tomiyasu or Kivior. Kivior is not a left back, I can tell you that. I don't think anyone believes he's a left back. Tomiyasu is a right back that's now got to cover right back and left back. And now we're getting bloody Cedric in again. Like, what is actually happening here?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? This is the problem I've got. And then what will happen is people will go, stop moaning, get behind the team, just get behind him. Come January, we won't have a right back, and everyone will be going, oh, bloody hell, yeah, maybe we should have been a bit more concerned, like we did last year. Oh, Rob Holding, I don't think he's quite good enough. Shut up, get behind the team. Oh, Holding's in, we ain't got enough cover. Oh, we're playing Eddie. Oh, Nelson's coming on. Oh, Vieira. All this is still happening, Lee. This is my biggest concern. And this is why I've told everybody, oh, do you think Arsenal going to win the league, Dan? No. Oh, I thought you did. No, no chance. I'll tell you this now, zero chance of winning the league. Like zero. But I've got more confidence now of not winning the league than I did last year. That's how mad it is, And I thought we'd come like top
yeah,
4 last year. I've just got no optimism for it because I look at what we're up against and I know what we've got to compete against. If we were going up against Liverpool and United and Chelsea, I'd be like, I think we've got an unbelievable chance of winning the league. But we're not. We're going up against Man City and they can cover every single position with their 20 world-class players they've got. We've got 14 players again now, 15 maybe. So ain't enough, bruv. It ain't enough. We've got like 4 subs, haven't we, that we can bring on? Trossard, Smith Rowe, Tomiyasu. Who else is there? Maybe Jorginho? That's it. The
Jorginho,
others are a lot.
Vieira as well. I think Vieira will have to come into it now.
Yeah, Vieira in the last couple of games, fair play to him, to give him his due. But other than that, we're going back to Weddies and El Nenis and Reece Nelsons and all that. And people say you won't get all these injuries at the same time, but we did last year. We didn't actually. We only got 2.
I
That was
don't
it.
think we've got to be fortunate injuries. I think we've got to be. And this is the worrying thing, isn't it? We've got Party out again for another 4 weeks yet. I think Jorginho will be involved either in the game against Everton or PSV. It's going to be.
I don't mind that. I don't actually mind him. A lot of people hate him. I don't think he's that bad. I really don't.
I think the next 2 games are going to be. Forget about the North London derby at the moment because I think that we'll go very, very strong in that game. But I do believe that it's a difficult week coming up there, and I do think that the manager will make a couple of changes. Not all, just 1 or 2 for the Everton game, 1 or 2 for the PSV game. Full strength against Tottenham, and I mean, so I wouldn't be surprised if Declan Rice misses one of these games. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe Saliba misses one of these games. Wouldn't be so. For instance, like Ben White will play on Saturday, and then Ben White might move to the central defence. Tomiyasu might come in. We'll give Saliba a break, and then there'll be like maybe Shinchenko might get a little break, and Tomiyasu comes in at central defence. And do you know what I mean? Just 1 or 2 changes to just give people a little bit of a break. I don't know. I'm actually very, very worried about this next week. Not because of who we're playing or whatever. I don't know how we're going to manage this. We didn't manage it very well. We could, if we had a Europa League game at home on a Thursday night, you knew there'd be 7 or 8 changes and you still might get the result, but it didn't care. I don't think, PSV are playing very, very well in their league at the moment. It can't be taken lightly. So I think that there's got to be 1 or 2 changes because the last thing you want, Dan, is the players playing 2 games and then on the last game against Tottenham, a couple of players being a little bit leggy. I know you've got 5 substitutes now, so you can maybe change it around a little bit early. But I think it's going to be really interesting what the manager does over this next week. Like, for instance, I can see Martinelli maybe being left out for 1 game and Saka being left out for 1 game and Trossard playing both games. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I don't mind that. What I
don't mind it.
What I don't like is I want us to do what Pep Guardiola does, right? That's what everyone wants. But hear me out. I don't mean from top to toe because he ain't going to get everything that he does right, spot on. But in terms of his rotation, I want us to really look at what he does. Because a lot of people think, Man City, they get a Carabao Cup game and they change all 11. They never do that. No. They never go and change all 11 players. But we have been doing that in the last couple of years because we've not had the squad depth to go for all 4 competitions. So we've sacrificed some, right? Can't do that this year. Yeah, because there ain't many to win, and City are favourites for all 4, right? So for me, like you've said, if you want to rotate the goalkeeper because we've got 2 now, I'm not so fussed by that really, right? But don't go change all 4 of your back line. Don't go and completely change the midfield. Like you say, if Martinelli comes out and Trossard comes in, and maybe we play Jorginho instead of Declan Rice, and maybe we look at giving Smith Rowe a go instead of Havertz, and he could be more of an impact sub. I'm cool with that because it's like 3, maybe 4 changes tops, but don't go change 8 or 9 because then
No,
you're just
no,
trying to.
it
You're
won't.
never going to get there. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to be seeing.
It'd be very, very interesting. I get the old adage that you play your strongest team and all that, like, but I think there are times this season when you're not going to be able to play your strongest team. You're going to have to play this game. You've got to look at it and go, do you know what? We've got, without being disrespectful, a team in the bottom half of the table. I'm going to make a little bit of a rotation there because I've got Manchester City coming up in a couple. So we go to Bournemouth in a few weeks' time, you know, and then after that we've got Man City. Like, don't forget the game against Lons. We've got like on the Tuesday before we play at Man City on the Sunday. There are a few days around that, but we've got to play, I think, Saturday against Bournemouth, and then on the Tuesday against Lons. There's got to be some sort of change, Dan. There is. I don't care what anybody says. You can't keep playing the same 11 all the time. So he's going to have to rotate. It's going to be very, very interesting. Now, when you say about the goalkeepers, you're turning around and saying, well, if you're going to play Ray on one game, you're not worried about that because he's a good goalkeeper and blah, blah, blah. So if you're going to bring in Trossard for Saka or Trossard for Martinelli, I don't think that's a problem. I look at Jorginho playing, I thought was superb towards the end of last season. Probably doesn't deserve to be dropped for these last few games, if I'll be honest. So there's going to be a lot of change. And with a lot of change and a little bit of rotation, you might just lose a bit of your momentum or whatever. So I am very, very concerned how he's going to go about this. But this is a massive, massive month for Arsenal. So when you think about it, it's 3 games a week, every week now, till the international break. And then when you go away with Southgate, he ain't going to rest Rice. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, he's not going to, he's not going to rest Saka and all that. Like they're going to be playing. I don't care what anybody says. So they're not going to get a rest anytime. So the time they're going to get a rest is probably Brentford away. I get that, like, but then I think they're going to have to be rested in the Arsenal games as well and big games. And it is a worry for me. I've got to say that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm hoping, like, come the England game that Declan Rice, you know what I mean? I broke a toe now. I'm out for the 2 weeks on this Mr. Southgate. And, but he won't because you know what? He's the ultimate professional. So he's not going to do that, like, But it'll be really interesting to see what happens. I listen, there's going to be multiple. I don't know about the Brentford game, whether I want to go to that game or not. I'm debating it because I think it will be a second string team. Like, for instance, it will be change of a goalkeeper. I would believe that Cedric would play right back. I believe that maybe even Walters will be in there. Kivior play, you know what I mean? I don't see Saliba playing in that game. I don't see Declan Rice playing in that game. I don't see Odegaard playing in that game. Don't forget, Odegaard's played in had a lot of minutes this international break as well with Norway. So I played 90 minutes. So I do think there'll be lots of changes in there, like, Now, when you make all those changes, then and if things don't go for us against Brentford, people are going to turn around and go, "Oh, we shouldn't make all these changes." But he's got to make those changes, and he's still got to get a result, in my opinion. Because I think, Brentford will make changes as well, Dan. I really do. So, but they won't make as many as us. I like, because they've not got Europe. So, I don't.
What else can they win? What else can they win?
I'm with you. I'm with you on this. When you play, I never really liked playing teams. Like Brighton last season. Brighton made changes. I don't like playing teams in the League Cup that have got nothing to play for, so it's a difficult one. Some of those teams down the bottom, it's more important that they stay in the Premier. It's those teams like the Brentfords, Fulhams, those sort of teams.
Ones that you think are going to be safe, but they're going to have to go for it, And I'd argue as well, it's funny because you make a good point there. Is Brighton or Brentford, Brighton this year in Europe, but, Brentford, Fulham, Palace, you mentioned a couple there. At this early stage, I don't know, maybe it's easier if you draw Liverpool. Because they're going to make loads of changes. Do you know what I mean? So, you're right. I mean, you don't want Liverpool in, like, the final and the semis, of course. But at this early stage, Liverpool might think, do you know what? That's not the draw we want. I just sacrifice this one. We'll go win the Europa League because they're favourites to win it, right? That's the thing. So you're absolutely bang on there, mate. You're absolutely bang on. Let's take a question. There's a couple of questions here that I want to take just before we do another 10 minutes or so. Joe Mads says, "Would you guys take Tony or Ferguson? Oh, next summer. Well, next summer I think we are going to get a striker. I do. I don't know who it's going to be. They're
Yeah,
rumoured
we will
it's going to
upgrade
be.
on the striker. We will
We
upgrade on
will.
the striker.
Would you take either of those two,
Yes,
Tony or Ferguson?
100%.
Which one?
I would go with Ferguson because he's younger. We'd have
Okay.
more time with him. He would probably be like fit into the squad because of the more of the fit, if you know what I'm saying. Like, but
Yeah.
listen, I would be happy with either or.
Oh, this is a hard one. This is a really hard one. This because Tony weren't doing that at 18. I've been so impressed with this lad to get a hat trick like he did against Newcastle.
Well,
Come on scene.
it's not just anybody. It's Newcastle. You know what I mean? It's
That's what I mean. I think this kid could be special, and I'm not sure that Tony's special. I think he's a top talent, but I don't look at him and go, "Oh yeah." Like I honestly believe that is the next Premier League striker we're going to look at and go, "Wow, Evan Ferguson." From what I've seen in these early stages, there's nothing I don't like about him. He can score. He's tall. He's like that. He's got that old school. You know, be like Harry Kane. He's got that old school kind of
he's
centre
that
forward
sort of
about
player.
him.
Harry Kane,
He's
Alan
that
Shearer
sort of
sort of
player.
type.
And do you know what, Lee? We so need one of those at Arsenal,
Yeah,
like all round wise. And I know Tony's all round as well, but yeah, you're right. He's 10 years younger than Tony. So I think I'm with you, bro. I think I'll go Ferguson, which is mad because I love Tony and I really want him.
yeah,
But
I'm a big fan of Tony's
um,
as well. Like so yeah,
yeah,
that's the only reason for me I'd go down that route.
100. Look, let's get a little bit of a prediction into going into this game because for me, I feel anyway like we are going to win this game. And it's mad, isn't it? Because we go into this Everton game thinking we're good, they're no good. This is going to be simple, but it never is at their place, mate. It never is. And I'm going up there and I'm looking forward to it with my old man, and we're going to go and have a great laugh, I'm sure. But I've always got that doubt because last year I was actually on holiday for that game. I watched it at the airport, and we were terrible, Lee. We were so bad, absolutely awful. And I don't know. Something tells me that we won't put a performance in like that, and that'll be in the back of the players and the manager's mind. So I'm expecting a positive result, Lee. I really am. What about you?
Yeah, I am as that. Listen, I think if I'll be honest, Everton have not really improved since last season. They're going to be struggling this season. I know they bought that Beto, who looks like a decent player.
Yeah.
Last season they had Calvert-Lewin that was just come back. Do you remember he come back, played that game, and got injured after that?
That's right.
But it caused us all sorts of problems. I understand that he'd probably be fit because of the international break and everything like that. So they will cause us problems. They'll be very, very direct. I don't think it'll be very easy. I do think that we're a different team. And do you know what? I think last season will be a reminder. If you're not on your game, and I think Mikel will use that. If you're not on it, this is what can happen. So make sure you're on it this time. Like I don't think we was on it last season at all. And I think that we will do. I'm going to go for Arsenal to win 2-0. I have said on the forever 3-0 because like a couple of the other guys went for 2-0, so I thought I had to change it. But I think it'd be a tough game, and not the sort of game you want just before your first Champions League game away to Everton, because you're going to get bashed up a little bit, So I expect a physical, tough game, but I think that Saliba makes a big difference as well, for us being there. And they played in that game last season, but what did we have missing? We had Jesus missing last season. I think that, whether he starts or whether he comes on last 20 minutes, I think probably see Jesus being on the bench for this game again and coming on in the last 20 minutes when they're tiring, whatever. But I do think that Arsenal are better when he plays, if I'll be honest. I've got to say that.
100%.
But I do believe.
I want him playing. I want him to play.
Yeah.
I want to see, the best 11 now. None of this messing about. Like, for me, we've got to win this game. This is best 11. Get the job done. get the players off that you want off. That's what I'll be doing. None of this. We might bring him on at 20 if we're struggling a bit. For me, Jesus, Saka, Martinelli, Erdegaard. Obviously, it will be for me Declan Rice and Jorginho. That's what I'd do, and no Havertz. And then the back four would be our best back four, which is White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Zinchenko, and then Ramsdale in goal. That'll be mine. That'll be me.
Yeah,
Havertz, Vieira, Smith Rowe, all those guys can come on and be impact subs. That's what I would do. Jorginho play in the party role. Everything else will be our best 11 because we're better, and I think we'll win 3-1. I think we'll concede because we always do, but I think we'll beat them 3-1. I do.
there you go. I think Kai Havertz will play though. I do think that.
Oh, I think he will, but that's what I would do.
Yeah,
I
see what you're saying. Partey and Jorginho would be a good base in there, but I think Havertz will play in this one, unless it gives Odegaard a break. But you're taking a risk. You're taking a risk. If I was to make a few changes, it would be against PSV, but because it's I don't know. Listen, every game's tough now, Dan. This is the problem we've got. I'm saying it's a problem. It's what we're there for. I don't think that we've done enough in a transfer window, if I'll be honest, to really compete on these two sides. But listen, we'll see. We've got 6 games in over this next sort of 3 months. Let's hope that we've got enough firepower to get ourselves through. Listen, the greatest thing that we need to do is if we can go beat PSV, beat Lens, and then go and beat Seville in I think we've got Seville in Seville first, if I'm not sure. But if we can get 9 points on the board straight away, then we're in a position where we may be able to say, oh, well, if we win one more, we've qualified. You know what I mean? So I think that it's very, very important these next few weeks, Dan. I can't emphasise how much. I'll be really interested looking at the team, on Sunday. I think, for me, I wouldn't be disappointed if it is Jorginho and Declan Rice in there. I wouldn't be against that. I'll be honest, but and maybe Odegaard gets a little break. I don't know, Dan. I don't know, but I'm putting a lot of money on it that Kai Havertz plays on Sunday.
Yeah, this Kai Havertz obsession has got to stop now for me, but I don't think he will. I think you bring him on now like you have Fabio Vieira. Fabio Vieira, to me, is not a starter. He's a super sub, isn't he? He's come on and he's now proven that he can actually make an impact on a game. And I wouldn't change that. I wouldn't go, right, now you deserve a start. I'd be saying, this is working. Keep it. Don't change it. Keep this. He's coming on and he's doing a job. Now, I'm not saying he's never going to start for Arsenal, but certainly for me, he's not in our first 11, Fabio Vieira, still now, even though he's played well. Kai Havertz, he definitely ain't in the first 11 because he's been worse than Fabio Vieira. So for me, if Vieira can't get in, why can this guy? So for me, I just feel like there needs to be some form of different dimension substitution from Havertz now. A little bit like we used to do with Olivier Giroud when he used to come on. I'm not saying comparing the two because I think Giroud's miles clearer. Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? Different dimension. Put him up top. Maybe if Jesus isn't quite fit, bring him the 60-minute mark. Then you go, do you know what, Kai? You go up top now. And you cause them their defence some problems. That's what I would do. But I'm with you, Lee. I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to stick by him, mate. I really do. So there we go. Adam Jones in the chat says this is the game that Havertz comes to the Arsenal party. And do you know what? If he does start, I hope he does. Yeah.
I
really hope he does. I'd love to see him go score a hat-trick. I really would. I'd love to see it.
I'm backing it.
Yeah.
Right, so we'll see how it goes there,
Yeah,
Adrian Divine's in the chat. He's saying a few nice things there. I totally agree, Dan. Jorginho must play. We want to win the league. We must go to Everton and others and not fold. I agree.
Adrian, I agree.
It's got to do that, though. These are the games. I remember Manchester City going to Everton last season. I thought maybe Everton might get something. Smashed them up, beat them up. And disheartened us going into Brighton, didn't it? If you remember rightly,
I remember the goal was goal of the season, wasn't it? Gundogan.
And that was what they've done, and they've not been convincing as much as everybody thinks they have, Man City, but they've been getting the job done, and that's what we've got to do now. Go to Everton, get the result there, and get that result, get it done.
Yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely. Fair play. You're saying 2-0 or you've gone 3-0 on Forever Arsenal. I'm going to go 3-1. And I think we both agree that Havertz is probably going to play, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't play him. I would play Jorginho. Listen, we're going to leave it there. Absolutely. Well, it's been a pleasure, mate, to talk to you as ever.
Always good. How long has that gone? Like 50 minutes, just gone like that, or 44
Yeah,
minutes.
see,
Watch.
that's what it's all
Just
about,
like
man. Big up the chat room. Thank you for getting involved. Please make sure
Yeah,
you do us
always
a
a
favor
pleasure.
and like
I
this.
mean, I just want to say thanks for supporting the watch-alongs. You know what I mean? It was something that we had a chat about, and we said we'd give them a go. Quite successful, you know. So I tell you what, out of the two, the Ukraine one done better, and maybe because it was not as exciting as the England Scotland game. So the boring the game, the better it is for the watch-alongs.
Listen, I'll tell you what, I did a stream over the England Scotland game. That's how bored, that was how interesting I was to watch the game. So that says it all, really. Club over country always will be, but big up, man, and well done for doing them, the watch-alongs, and cheers for all your support. Make sure you do us a favour and like on this. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you get as close to 40k, which is our next target. If you can come and support myself, I'm 50 away from 12k, so that'd be really helpful. So make sure you come and do us a favour at Football's 12th Man Podcast, and just literally click subscribe, and you might be the 12k. You never know. You might be the number 12k. Listen, always a pleasure, Lee. Thanks so much. I'll let you see us out.
We'll see you at the weekend.
Absolutely. I'll let you see us out, Lee.
Oh yeah, I forgot I've got to do that. Like, so there you go. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. We're out of here. Premier League football is back. Come on, you Gunners.
Come on, you